The presidency has berated a former vice president and People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 23 elections, Atiku Abubakar, over his accusations against the nation's judiciary, describing his action as laughable. The presidency stated that Atiku's bid to blackmail the judiciary will fail and described his claims as laughable and jejune. It will be recalled that former vice president and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the February 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar had alleged that there is a plot to harass and undermine the judiciary to compromise the proceedings of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Atiku's apprehension is coming as the PEPC moves to conclude its proceedings. A statement signed by Atiku's media advisor, Paul Ibe, alleged that as proceedings on the controversial February 25 election continues at the court, there have been threats from the ruling party that aim to intimidate the judiciary from serving the duty of justice. Joining us now on the morning show is Phrank Shaibu, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Special Assistant on Public Communications to Atiku Abubakar. Also joining us is Honorable Musa Sakinada, a chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress and a member of the 9th Federal House of Representatives. Both men will be lending their thoughts on the issue of judicial integrity. Thank you for joining us, Phrank Shaibu and Honorable Musa Sakinada. Good morning.
Dr. Abati, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, you both listened to both sides of the story. On one hand, we had Phrank Shaibu, here to talk about the allegation by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to the effect that the APC is doing everything possible to intimidate the judiciary and undermine its integrity. The APC and the presidency have both responded. Well, Alhaji Musa Sakinada, you are here to help us articulate that response from the APC, principally stating that President Tinubu won the elections in February, the presidential election, free and fair and square. Well, let's start with you, Phrank Shaibu, and then Honorable Musa Sakinada. You can then respond to him. Phrank Shaibu.
Yes, Dr. Abati, I think it's a great privilege to be here to lend my voice to that statement that came out of our media office. And that statement is not, I'm not sure it was that statement that Mr. Dele Alake responded to in that unpresidential remarks, because that response that came from him, if you do a simple Google search, it will show you that the only difference between that response and the response we got from Femi Adesina in 2019, when we treaded this similar road, the only difference is just the date and maybe the title of the press release from the State House. But that aside, I'll tell you clearly that, number one, nobody can categorize our apprehension and the statement we issued as frivolous or spurious. The reason is simple. If you recall very well and clearly that in 2019, we raised the same alarm. And before the election, we know how Justice Onogen was removed from office. But while we were, after the election, you recall, before the election, before even going to after the election, before the election too, we recall very vividly how about 10 justices were accused of corruption in the Nigerian judiciary. And we told them that, look, it is not about corruption. What we see here is about election. And they said, no, it was about corruption. We said, okay. And those 10 justices between 2019 till date, none of them has been indicted. We knew how there was a midnight raid on the homes of those justices of the Nigerian judiciary. So our statement did not at any time accuse the justices of partisanship. No. We only needed to raise the alarm for eternal vigilance because we are seeing the same signs. We are talking about the same sets of people, the APC, who have a penchant for intimidation of the judiciary judiciary because they want to, they have a penchant of railroading themselves into power using any means possible. And we have said it. We listened to their candidate during the election who said you should grab it, steal it, whatever it takes, just grab power. That's how power should be taken. And it will never be served a la carte. And we are saying, look, Nigerians know whom they voted for. And the statistics are clear and unambiguous. Even INEC on its own, in their own written address, in their response to our petition, clearly, till today have not countermanded it. They stated there and made averments, clear averments. And look, Atiku Abubakar, the first petitioner in this matter before the justices of the Court of Appeal at the Election Petitions Tribunal. One, they say that they conducted the election within the extant laws, and that, let me paraphrase, and that winning, that the first petitioner, Atiku Abubakar, winning only 21 out of these 36 states, to wit, and now listed the states. Of course, those states are familiar to us. They are familiar to Nigerians. They know that, look, we did our homework and we worked very hard in those states. Those are our traditional home grounds. Those are location states that we know that traditionally we won. We knew we won it. INEC certified it. You know, Dr. Bati, that you know what averment means in law. Until this minute, till they even filed their final written address, nobody, not even the APC, countermanded that. But you see, but that is not the issue in this circumstance. What we are even talking about is simple, clear and unambiguous. We are saying this man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the INEC claimed one election, has been sworn into power. We don't have a problem with that. Atiku, you know, is a man who loves peace. In fact, despite irritating provocations from those who even drink whiskey at 11 a.m., but it does not matter. He has always maintained decorum and remained stoically gallant in the face of this provocation. And all we do is, look, remind security agencies not to allow themselves to be used as pawns in the political chessboard of this country. And I'm not sure that that will warrant such an unpresidential remarks, unpresidential rebuttal from a government that prides itself as being advocate of the rule of law and democracy. And that is why we say, look, if you have no hand in the mischief that is playing out, or the plots, the passive plot that we see, why not come out clean? Simply say, oh, there is nothing like that. Please be rest assured that, look, we will allow the process to run itself and to go according to the law. We remember vividly how some of these justices, like Justice Nguta, Sylvester Nguta of blessed memory, may so rest in peace. Some of these justices, the embarrassment they got from the raid, the midnight raid by security agencies, is still, in fact, some of them left to their early graves because they couldn't recover from it. So the issue is, we are saying eternal vigilance is the key. And we are saying, look, Nigerians, be on the alert. We are saying security agencies, be on the alert. Don't allow yourselves to be used. We are saying the esteemed justices of our courts should be on the alert. Don't allow anybody to compromise you. Don't forget, too, that, look, we have seen justices, including the CJN, who had visited, who had gone to, in fact, he was in Port Harcourt some time ago, even before the election, where on his own, whether it was a slip or whatever it was, it does not matter. Where he said clearly and in unambiguous terms that, look, he had always told his brother, the governor of Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde, you know, that it was good to be, yes, Dr. Abati.
Phrank, maybe at this point, if we could just summarize so that we can have the alternative perspective from Honorable Musa Sakinada.
Well, the summary is clear, is very simple. The summary is this, that we raise the alarm because we know their plots. We know that they have a penchant. We know that it's their stock in trade to intimidate and harass the judiciary. I've provided evidence of what they did in 2019, and they have started treading on the same road. Okay. So if we raise the alarm, it is not because we have nothing to say. It is because we want to draw the attention of Nigerians to it, and because we know we won the election. Clear and square.
On that note, over to you, Honorable Musa Sakinada. You heard him.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruben, Rufai, and Mero. And good morning, Nigerians. I'm glad that I am here today to be paired with Mr. Phrank Shaibu, as you described him or introduced him and assistant, media assistant to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I am here in my personal capacity as a Nigerian, a member of the APC who campaigned for it and who supported President Bola Tinubu and all other aspirants, including myself, who lost the election. Having said this, I made this background so that I should not be interrupted. I think at this very critical time, what Nigerians need to be heard from all of us, the ruling party, the government in power, and those that have lost election squarely, and the most freest and fairest election in this country, as attributed by so many people, whereby a sitting president lost election of his party in his home state. President Muhammadu Buhari then was the president of this country. He lost the election in Katsina State. PDP won. Ditto Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If this had happened, and yet some people will come out to start crying follow, where there's none, it is most unfortunate at this juncture. I think we should allow this country to move forward to accept defeat in good faith. Somebody should not be desperate just because he wants power. Power is transient. All you need is to have patience. Go and look at where did you got it wrong. Maybe you still have time. Atiku Abubakar is still young enough to contest for another election. He has been contesting in the last 20 years. He must not be president at all costs. I do not want to mention his name because I have no anything against him. He's an elder, I respect him for that. And I knew him personally since my NYSC days. And we were in the same party, in the SDP, in those days. He knew me very well. So I'm not here to vilify him or vilify anybody. I'm a person that at this age, I'm now 58, and I consider myself as an elder as well. Well, even though when we have people in their 70s, they are still struggling like they are in their 40s. This country needs to be forward. We have seen in the past all the attempts that have been made by the opposition parties, blackmailing, all this and that during the campaign. The campaign has come and gone. Please, let us start building the nation. If you have anything that you think you had wanted to do if you had won election, Nigeria belongs to all of us. And the president is our own personal friend. All of you dine and dance together in many places. Go and meet him, Mr. President, congratulations, I'm here. I have these ideas. If I have gotten this chance, this is the way I'm going to do it. Please, plus what do you have? Let's put our hands together and move this country forward. We shall not continue just simply because of personal selfishness. We cannot get all we want at all times, and we must be patient. That's what makes leadership. Anybody who just thinks because he didn't get it, no, I must blackmail everybody. No, I must shout on top of my voice. No, I told you here, I lost the election. I admitted I lost the election. I didn't come and I told you, yes, we are at the tribunal, but I have never issued any statement condemning anybody. And if, as I said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost the election in Lagos State, then again some people are there crying that the election was not free and fair. And there's one thing I want to caution. I chaired committee on electoral matters for 4 years in the 7th Assembly, and I observed elections in many countries, including where we borrowed from, the United States of America, the UK, the France, Germany, Ghana here, and Kenya, and so many other countries. I am always ashamed of whenever people are always clapping hands and citing references that the election observers have said this and that. Who are the election observers? Where do they go and what do they do? They do not go to cover up to 5% of the polling units of this country. Most of them remain in hotel. I was in Ghana sometime when we went there together with the ECOWAS election observer. Most of them were in the hotel. In fact, when I was going out with my colleagues, some of them were discouraging us that don't go. There's a report. This election is going to be mad. There is a violence here and there, and we are not from this country. We don't know how to run and escape. When we went to Kenya in 2009, the same thing, middle of the night, people from the embassy came to advise us we should evacuate and move out of the hotel because there's going to be violence in that country. So are these kind of people that we shall come and rely upon their reports? All the EU observers that people are saying that they have said the election was mad, was rigged, was this and that, where did they went? Have they went to Gada and Gorome in my local government and my constituency? We have over 500 polling units. I challenge all of them. Let any of them tell me that he has been to there. If they have gone to Sokoto, they were in their hotels. I saw many of them in the hotel, that the Commando Hotel in Sokoto, which was the most secured because it was close to the military barrack. And this is what our elites, our political elites will come to say, oh, the EU election observers have said this, the ECO observers have said this, the civil societies, where did they went to? Please, Nigerians, don't be misled and don't be intimidated and don't be harassed. And if anybody believes in the rule of law, you have taken your case to the court. Allow the court to decide. You have presented all your accusations. You have presented all your witnesses. You should now wait for the court to decide, not to come and try to blackmail them by cajoling, by intimidating them, by trying to tell them that what they should do. That means if they give anything contrary to your expectation, you are not ready to accept. Our leaders, our elders, Mr. Peter Obi of the LP, Mr. Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, please, Nigeria need to move forward. You are part of the people that will make it forward, not necessarily when you occupy the office of the president. Even as citizens, big statesmen, come and join hands with us. Let's build Nigeria. And after all, the president has said,
thank you.
Government. If you have any people that you think can help, bring them like Phrank Shaibu here. Let him come. Our percentage is being there.
Ada,
he's talking here.
Ask your question now, Honorable Ada. Mr. Phrank Shaibu, thank you very much for your statement. We need to be able to manage time here, and please would ask that you kindly help us along so that when we come in or try to interject, you please pause so we can pose our next question. So the question to you, Honorable Sarkin Ada, is this. You talk about the rule of law, and under this administration, I'd like you to perhaps assess how well that has been adhered to, how much it's been respected. Under this administration, the President Tinubu-led administration, we have a court order against, a court order in the case of the suspended governor of the CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Yes, it is to the DSS, but it's under this administration. And one thing we had drawn was that the president had said that he was going to constitutionally and in respect of the rule of law govern this nation. Nigerians, well, what we can pose to you is that that hasn't yet been strictly adhered to. He hasn't said anything about it. He hasn't mentioned anything about it. He's just kept very silent. So it's a bit, how convincing then is it that this president will respect and obey the rule of law? Then going to Mr. Shaibu, again, I'd like to still probe a bit further in terms of the evidence. Yes, you cite what happened with the previous administration and the Just Water Onogen case, but for this particular administration, for this particular claim by your party and the Atiku Abubakar camp, what is the evidence? Is it just crying wolf where there's no concrete evidence that the APC is planning to undermine the judiciary? What is your concrete evidence? I'll speak to Honorable Sarkin Ada to please respond first, and then Mr. Shaibu.
Okay, Sarkin should respond first. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mero. Yes, President Tinubu have declared, and I believe he means what he said. As for the court injunction of Mr. Emefiele, first of all, let me say this again. I'm not here as an aide or as a spokesperson of the APC or of anybody, and I don't have any brief to come and defend any policy statement that has taken place or anything that has happened in that direction. However, I have read on the pages of newspapers when Mr. Emefiele was arrested for some allegations against him. I have equally read that he has been detained by the DSS, and some people are saying by the EFCC. I am not sure yet. And I have equally read that he's going to be arraigned tomorrow, Tuesday, in a court of law. So by this, I want to believe that it is in line with President Tinubu's proclamation that is going to govern by rule of law. And we should wait to see if he's going to be arraigned by tomorrow. Then if he failed to, if he is not produced in court tomorrow, he's not charged to court by tomorrow, then I think you can call me or call any other person to come and level that the president has started regarding on what he has promised to give the rule of law of this country. Second, going by what has happened today, he's 57 days in office. When there was an outcry outcry about the 8,000 palliative that he intended to give to the poorest of the poor. When he had that, people condemned that, people did not appreciate it. He quickly retracted and said, okay, that money is no longer going to be channeled in that direction. It will be used in other better way. And they are coming up with a plan of how they will give palliatives to the general people in this country. So with this, I don't think it is a right time for now to start accusing Mr. President of not ruling by his declaration. He's a man of honor, and I think when he was governor of Lagos State, he has been taken to court so many times, and he followed the due process. Where he won, he is accepted. Where he was defeated also, he accepted. So for this now, it's not a matter that we should continue to do, talk much. As I said, let's wait for tomorrow. I gave you background, all these three instances, his arrest, his detention, and now they are saying he's going to be charged by tomorrow, Tuesday, if I'm going to rely on what I've seen on social media and on the newspapers. So with this, I rest my case, and I am here also to continue to say that I'm appealing, I'm pleading, let's build this country. Whatever shout you do does not make you a president if you have lost an election. Right. Whatever you say to preempt the outcome of the election does not make any difference. Just rely more on
let me bring in Mr. Shaibu.
Faithful pastor. He was in all the churches.
Let me bring in Mr. Shaibu at this point.
Let them agree that God gives power to whom he wants, when he wants.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll bring in Mr. Shaibu at this point. Please respond.
You see, first off, before I go to your question, you see, the APC needs to cut short what Chief Chris Uche described as magisterial arrogance. You see, their lawyers said, oh, there will be chaos if there is a decision that does not favor their presidential candidate and who has been sworn in already. And here I'm in the studio and somebody tells me, look, we have lost an election, and playing God and playing, speaking as if he were a judge. Well, my advice is simple. Whenever we are in a public space like this, particularly when people are watching, the kids are on holiday, it's 9 a.m., so we should not speak, we should not get emotional, because when we get emotional, we begin to make sentences that deviate from grammatical norms and their states or its form as they should be. Expressions like where did they went and all of that. Anyway, going to the issue of our source of evidence and all that, I'll tell you, my dear sister, don't forget that in 2019, when we raised the alarm that Justice Bulkachua should recuse herself from the Election Petitions Tribunal, in our case in Atiku Abubakar versus former President Muhammadu Buhari, we all, the world, Nigerians, particularly the APC, said, oh, we're crying wolf. Lo and behold, a few weeks ago, her husband on the floor of the last National Assembly, the last Senate, made an open confession like a man who was possessed. And he said, look, I know how I use my position as husband of the president, of the former president of the Court of Appeal, to assist my colleagues in getting them victory. So we do not need the services of a clairvoyant to hazard a guess as to what the APC is capable of doing, going from their track record of intimidation of judges, bribery, and all of that. But what we have been saying and what we said in our statement is clear and unambiguous. The esteemed justices of our courts should be vigilant. They should do justice even if the heavens will fall. They should do justice. And besides, and the truth is, like Justice Oguntade of the Supreme Court said, retired Justice of the Supreme Court said, he said, look, when justice is done, heavens will stay in one place. In fact, it will stay in peace. Heavens will not fall. So nobody should come here to intimidate us. Or nobody should come to national television to begin to lobby us. And no, we are not the ones. We are not the ones for you that you should lobby. Legitimacy is something you earn. It's not something you buy. It's not something you go from one cup in hand going to beg like my brother here, the honorable member of the former assembly is doing here, doing Babiala to me and to Atiku Abubakar and to His Excellency Peter Obi. No, sir. What we are saying is about justice. We are not talking about election. We are not campaigning here. We are saying that, look, your candidate in the first place was not qualified to be president. He did not, in fact, he was not qualified to have even contested. INEC has attested to the fact that, look, Atiku Abubakar won in 21 states of the federation. So what evidence are we looking for? Let me give you an example, another clinical example, for you to know why we are circumspect, why we are raising the alarm. If you know, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in, the first thing he did after a few days and all of that in office, he said it's 52 days. I don't even count. I don't count because before coming here, like I told the editor who invited me for this program, I said, look, you guys at Arise TV will need to now begin to provide palliative for your guests, because to fill my tank, I think it cost me over 62,000 naira. I don't have a problem with that. We'll let you know, because if we begin to talk now, they'll start borrowing from our template. When he talked about the palliative and how the president had listening ear, no, sir. We raised the alarm. You cannot say you want to give 8,000 naira to a household, forgetting that you don't even know the definition of a household in the Nigerian environment. You look at the peculiarity. What does the statistics say? A household in Nigeria, based on the 2019 statistics, show clearly that a family of not less than 5.06. Okay. Let's say approximately 5 persons. 8,000 naira will give you 53 naira. Now, but you see, when he removed the heads of the service chiefs, in a swift action, he was applauded. But Dr. Abati, I would crave your indulgence to allow me land, because this is a very, very critical point.
Oh, go ahead.
So you will know why we are raising the alarm. When he removed this, yes, sir. When he removed the service chiefs in this country, people gave him a clap because of the insecurity that pervaded our country. But Nigerians forgot that two leaders, two men who are the helms of affairs of two security agencies, the NIA and the DSS, were left behind. We have no problem with that, because the NIA deals with external security. The Department of State Services deals with our own security as Nigerians. But we are concerned because we know very well too that the son of the DG of the DSS, or the Department of State Services, was on the campaign council of the APC. So if we are saying that, look, something is wrong somewhere, we are raising the alarm. We are saying, look, the DSS, we know you to be
I think you've made the point. Mr. Phrank Shaibu, this is Rufai here.
Justices, do your job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rufai.
I want to go back to that deposition made, by the lawyers of the APC that caused an uproar. The one about where the word anarchy was mentioned. I'd like to have your take on that. For you, Mr. Phrank Shaibu, you go first, and Honorable Sakin had your own interpretation of, that deposition by Wale Olanipekun. Mr. Phrank Shaibu, you first. Quickly, because of time.
My interpretation is simple. At least particularly, I'm a teacher of the English language. And I would say it again and again. You see, sometimes when we have lawyers, as brilliant as they may sound and look, sometimes they need to be schooled about choice of words. You see, if you say what Chief Olanipekun said, with due respect to him, you understand, was nothing but an action that could stoke anarchy itself. It was a threat. It was a form of intimidation, because they feel they now have presidential powers in their hands. You don't intimidate the judiciary. Who is afraid of anarchy? What is anarchy? Anarchy is not the presence of problem, but the presence of justice. So it was another tactics, another mundane and outdated tactics to harass and intimidate the judiciary. We saw through it. We are the Atiku media office. We are too cosmopolitan and too educated to be pushed aside. We looked at it and said, no, he can't come through the back door to intimidate the judiciary. And that was why we responded in full measure. Okay.
So, Mr. Sakin Ada, Honorable Sakin Ada, do you think that's the interpretation? Do you think the judiciary was muscled by that statement? What's your take on it, sir? Honorable Sakin Ada, can you hear me, sir?
I can assist him with a comment if you want me to.
No, Honorable Sakin Ada, can you hear me? Honorable Sakin Ada?
I can't hear. I am telling you, I lost sound.
Okay, you lost sound. Please.
I've lost sound.
Okay, so you've lost sound. Mr. Phrank Shaibu, can you just quickly tell him what we're talking about so that he can respond to it? The case of anarchy. Let's do that quickly.
Okay, Honorable Saki, I have been directed to let you know that what they are saying to you is that, one, the statement issued in the final written address by the council to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he stated clearly that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is sacked as president of Nigeria, it will lead to chaos and anarchy. What is your interpretation of that statement, according to your conscience, with the fear of God?
I didn't add that anyway.
Dr. Ruben, I have never seen this kind of thing where a debater will be asked to pass a question to the person he is debating with, so that he might have manipulated what you have told him, because I'm not hearing you.
I did add that.
I'm raising my hand that I've lost sound.
Okay.
In any case, I have not heard and I've not seen. I'm talking to you from the bottom of my heart. I have not heard, I've not seen what Wole Olunipekun said, that there will be chaos and there will be anarchy in this country. And I don't believe that's what he means to say. He is a revered lawyer, an elder statesman, and a leader in this country. I don't believe him. However, you know, whoever loses something, he will try, like they said, there's a proverb in the Hausa where they say, he who intends to cry, even if you just air to his air, he will say you throw a stone on him. So the PDP, they are looking for everything. What they are trying to do is they want aggregate and aggravate sympathy from the public. The public have no sympathy with them because they don't believe them for the last 16 years to rule this country. That's why they rejected them at the poll. They should just accept that this have come and gone. They lost the election. Let them prepare for 2027. If it is not Atiku Abubakar, they can present somebody like a Phrank Shaibu. He's a northerner. If the ticket belongs to the north, he can contest for that. Maybe by then we'll come together and talk. Maybe I will negotiate with them to cross over to the APC when the time comes. However, I'm not here to defend what Wale Onefekun said, but I said I've not seen it, and I don't believe what PDP is trying to express. That's what he meant. No sane person will come out and say he wants anarchy and chaos in his home country. Talk less of a learned person like him. They are just trying to impute meaning into whatever he said. They are just trying to put something literal in his mouth, and he didn't say it. As I said, I have no any belief before I come here. I'm talking as a Nigerian, which is the right I have, and I appreciate that you recognize me for that. And please disregard whatever PDP say in regard to that. And however, these are people who always cry wolf where there is none. Since from the beginning of this campaign, they said Tinubu is not qualified to contest. He contested. He said Tinubu cannot win the primary, APC primary. He got it. Tinubu cannot do it. He has gotten, this man has become the president. Let them respect the office of the president, respect his personality. He is a very good friend of all Nigerians. That's why he won the election. Clear and white. They use religion to divide us. Christian, Muslim, this and that. But God and Nigerians spoke in the same way that they want this man to be the president. And he's the president today. And he's doing well. And he started in the right track. Please, let's all support him. Let's build Nigeria. It's not about our personal aspirations. Aspirations are aspirations. They can remain as so. And we can always get our aspirations later. We must not get it now. Nigeria must move forward. It belongs to all of us. And we should remember we have children and grandchildren yet unborn. We are trying to protect Nigeria and build a virile Nigeria. Let us move forward. You can build Nigeria without being a president.
Honorable.
You can build Nigeria without being a governor. You can build Nigeria without being a member of the House or of anything. Even this contribution we are making, we are building Nigeria. So we should build Nigeria in line of civilized ways that are accepted globally. Not necessarily I must be there. Never. I told you I can teach in a classroom. He said he's an English teacher. I wish what he said is correct, that he's a teacher. A teacher should not come and start saying, we must get this by any means. No, let us be polite. Election has come, I'm gone. Okay. INEC have declared. If you don't believe in the rule of law, if you don't believe in INEC, why did you contest the election? If you don't believe in the judiciary, why do you take a case to them? Please allow them to do their work and their work diligently, and they are men of honor, and I believe they all have fear of God, and they are justices. Anybody who is a justice of Supreme Court, of Appeal Court, or even a magistrate court should be trusted. You don't have to come to try to blackmail him. That he has made phone call with this person and that. And like he said now, the DSS have not been removed because his son is on the campaign. His son is matured. His son can choose where he likes to be. We have seen in many families where a father is a Muslim, his children are Christians, or a mother is a Muslim, her children are Christians, and nobody questioned that. Why question this? That man who, the son of DSS, whoever he is,
Phrank,
I don't know him, he has a right to be
the
of the APC. That will not affect the work and integrity.
Mr. Phrank Shaibu, please tell Honorable to stop. That is time up. That we have to go.
To remain there is because he has been seen to be doing the right thing for Nigeria, not for APC. He's a Nigerian, and he has been doing very well.
Honorable.
If it is because he has arrested Mepele, which he had earlier sounded a warning much earlier before the election was concluded, and now he has done that.
Honorable Musa Sakinada, thank you very much.
Please, let's move forward and build Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Musa Sakinada. And thank you also, Phrank Shaibu. Phrank Shaibu, you say you bought fuel for 62,000 naira to get to the studio. I hope you are not coming from the outskirts of Abuja or some neighboring states. But thank you also for joining us, for your time.